Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on folks. It's me, all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, we have this is peak week. Woohoo! As you know, this weekend is going to be the Tampa Bay Pro. As you know, Tampa Bay Pro is probably one of the most prestigious shows of the year, especially this time of year, summer. We're almost halfway through the season. I mean, can you believe it? August is around the corner. We just got a few more days, and it's a great event. It was a great opportunity to go there back in 2025 to help my dear friend, the lovely Miss Eunice Martinez Kitchens, and her partner in crime, Jolene Floops, as they were running their bad rap booth that year. And for me, it was just a great opportunity to meet Jolene and also to meet her husband, to meet Mr. Willie, Eunice's husband, and also to meet several other ladies that I've interviewed that follow social media. For me, it was a highlight for me as a content maker and creator to be like to meet someone like Sharonica Hinton. She's a lovely lady, and she's competing this weekend in Tampa. Also to meet Ashley Jones. She was there because she had a client making her pro debut that year, and also meet a couple of ladies that did some interviews with. I got to meet Paula Ranta, who's also competing this weekend. She actually competed there. This is going to be her third time. First time she competed back in 2024. She competed 2025. Now she's coming back this time to women's bodybuilding. And also just to be able to stand show with some legends, like people like Bob Ciccarello. He's been in the game for a long time. One of the MCs for the Olympia and many other shows. Kevin Levrone, right there. That's a legend. I remember him back in the day. He was like the Pretty Ricky of men's bodybuilding. Tim Gardner, the promoter of the show, and also on my left, you're right, if you're looking at it, Isabel Terrell, who is herself an IB pro, and shot the bad rap. They were there to give out the jacket to the winner that year, and that was Lavinia Barros. And Lavinia is, she's number 3 in the world and at the Olympia for women's bodybuilding. And I think the biggest highlight for me, and I'm always going to, is when I got to meet this gentleman, face to face, Mr. David Lee Roth. Diamond Dave himself, the legend a sport of body sport not body a legend in the rock and roll game. I mean, if you know anything about Van Halen, not Van Hagar, Van Halen, when he was the lead singer in the first few years of it, songs like Jump, Run Over the Devil. If you go to my IG, I use that song as the theme music for the for this live for the my post. But it was a great opportunity for me. So I have some of my guests here, and we're going to talk about who we are certain and know we're coming for this show this year, and maybe who might be. The list is not out yet. I checked this before I got on here, and it's not out yet. I think it's going to take a while because usually it might be released about 6 or 7 o'clock. Once you put in your contracts, everybody's signing the dotted line. Boom, it's confirmation of who is competing. So once we get the list, I'll show you the list, and we'll talk about who we know are for certain competing at this show. Right here, we have my usual suspect. Shout out to my man here, my young nephew. Shout out to my man here, Alex. And Alex, he was on the live a little bit yesterday, and he made an announcement. So while Alex is here, make your announcement.
Thank you, George. Hi, everybody. I'm just here in case you missed it yesterday. I'm officially going back to Tampa Pro again this year. Well, I mean, it's the only contest in my state that I can afford to go to. So who knows what this experience? I know George and Eunice won't make it this year, but they will be. And here's some old friends and new friends, or old competitors, new competitors join the stage this year. I can't wait, and it'll be my first time spending the night there this time because, well, they changed the rules with the Wi-Fi recently. For you like I guess it's a long story. Long story short, you have to stay at the hotel if you want to use the Wi-Fi. So, with some help from Mom, thank you, Mom. I decided to spend a night there, just see the Masters, then spend the whole day with the Opens, Women's Division, and heading back home to Orlando.
Well, like I said, I remember when I was there and Eunice stayed there. She let me use her Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
what
good.
she. Yeah, that's what she did. Yeah, that's what she
Yeah,
did when
yeah.
I met her.
But if you know anybody who's really cool with you, they'll yeah, see, they don't even know. They don't even know. And shout out to my man KL the Wanderer. He, man's been busy. He had a couple of interviews just the last week. Thank you for coming through, brother.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
Yeah,
Doing good, KL.
yeah.
It's
He's out and
Yeah.
multitasking
about.
at the moment.
He's a roving reporter. He's out and about, out there in the world. So gentlemen, thank you for coming through. Uh, as you know, the Tampa Bay Pro is probably one of the most prestigious shows, especially for the division that I'm really fond of women's bodybuilding. As you know, a while back there was an announcement that it was going to be added. It was going to be on the list this year, but then shout out to Anastasia Ryder. She started the GoFundMe and was able to save it. Some people don't like the fact about the GoFundMe, but here's the thing: it's a short-term solution for a long-term problem. And the problem is we need to find people who's willing and wanting to sponsor women's bodybuilding at the Tampa Bay. We may not have it next year. She also can't forget, shout out to Kelly Larkin, who also runs her Beyond the Physique. As you know, Anastasia is one of her sponsored athletes because they'll be doing a documentary in a few months. And she also put in to help out women's bodybuilding because she was planning to make a pro debut in Atlanta this year, but she took a step back and stuff. I think she thinks she needs more time with her prep, so she took a step back. But I know most definitely Anastasia is going to be competing because Tampa's her backyard. I actually saw her when I went to Tampa. She was there because one of the clients was competing there. I think one of the clients was doing probably the amateur part of the show. I remember seeing her there. I didn't get a chance to talk to her, but we hope we do see her a little more activity. As you know, she did the Toronto Super Show just last month, and this is going to be the second show of the year. So okay, do what's the talking here? We got here John Thomas, and he says he drops a heart. Oh, thank you, appreciate that, brother. So anyway, there are some ladies who are confirmed to doing this show, and there's some ladies still waiting on to see the list. So once the list come out, we'll let you know who's on the list. But the one lady who is confirmed is, she made her pro debut last year, Tampa, and I was there, and that is Rania. I'm gonna say Rania T because I'm not gonna mention her name too much. And she just she got a pro card at the USA's the week before, and then jumped into this show, making a pro debut. And Rania, she has really evolved. Originally Rania was competing in wellness, and then she made the switch about a year or so ago over to women's physique and women's bodybuilding. But she got a pro card at the USA's in women's bodybuilding. She won the overall, and she won in her class. And she really has grown in the last few years since she became a pro. This was back in 2025 at the USA's, and this was her also at Tampa Bay Pro. And I was there. She was very impressive.
Yeah, she's impressive.
I mean, she really has grown. Recently she was at an event hanging out with some of the other ladies. It was at the USA's championships. They were doing a posing clinic. We have Rania, Lavinia Barros, and also at the very end, Amanda Machado. And also, I found out that Amanda is another lady who's confirmed to be doing this show. And Amanda, as you know, last year got first Olympic qualification at um, the Omaha, and then she also competed in New York Pro. But she's an impressive lady. I mean, she's also works with her fiance Don Slice. They also are the coaches of Lavia Barros, Susan Graham, and a couple other competitors. Here she is at the show. She was at the World Championships, USA Championships.
I work alongside my fiance Dominic, and I also compete. And I am so happy to be here representing women in bodybuilding. When I say women, when we women step on stage, we represent all of us, all categories, from fit model to figure to bikini. So anytime that you guys see each other, just compliment each other because what we do is very unique, and we should all be united. Some of the best friends that I have in the industry, they're all competitors. A lot of males too who really support females too. So that's my 2 cents. Really support each other because what we do is really unique, and I'm so happy to be representing women's physique and especially women's bodybuilding. Because remember, you always started with them. I don't know if you guys remember Corey Everson, Linda Moore. So we started from women's bodybuilding. So remember that, guys, every time that you see them. My name is Amanda Machado.
And I appreciate that because it did for most of the divisions. Well, I'll say for exception of bikini wellness and excuse me, hot point fit model, those didn't really spin off from women's bodybuilding. They were more likely one was brought both bikini and wellness were brought in, but they evolved along with the sport. And truthfully, fit model has spin off from bikini in a way. So if anything, truthfully, women's bodybuilding, women's physique, fitness, figure, those three divisions kind of grow within the sport. But Amanda, she has amazing physique. I mean, I think great lines, great amount of muscle. She has a very feminine aesthetic. She's on social media quite often. She also has a master's in health, and she's originally from Brazil. And that's the thing. You see, there's quite a number of Brazilian competitors in the sport of women's bodybuilding.
I don't think what she said was bad. I think the divisions need to support each other, but because I said that years years ago, they probably need to unite or whatever, support each other. Maybe it'll stand out more. But if
Yeah,
people gonna be looking down on other divisions and stuff, it ain't gonna go nowhere. So
yeah. That's the thing is sometimes with bodybuilding, it's always going to be kind of infighting with it because one thing is that when first bikini first came out, people didn't like the idea of a division, but now it's become a popular division. Wellness came out, people didn't like it, but now it's become a popular division. Fit model is kind of on that fence right now. It's some people, especially if you are a typical real hardcore bodybuilding fan, you're just not ready to jump on that fence and support that division. That's the thing is, but there should be some unity, like especially supporting each division. But again, there's always going to be those people who just not going to just jump on there and just because it's a new division, it's very popular. It feel like it's a threat to their own division. Like if you cut out like now, women's bodybuilding is have fewer shows, while fitness is picking up. I mean, fit models picking up a lot more shows, and
that's not their fault. Like, I mean, it just appeared. It fell on people's lap. You know
well,
what I'm
actually,
saying? It's
I
not
won't
like
say
it's
it fell on people's lap. This was planned, but it's just that it's
whatever.
again
Nobody can do nothing about it though.
where they can't do anything about it. But the thing is, then like some people, how people gonna feel some kind of way, and I can understand that.
That's just their feelings. Their feelings don't mean shit, man. Because it's not. It ain't. It's gonna happen regardless. If it ain't fit model, it's gonna be something else. Let's put it like this. I mean, before fit model, they looked down at bikini, and then what? Before that, what wellness? Like it ain't really no wins to it.
Well, like I said again, how some of these people are, especially the ones that have been in the game for a long time. They feel like it's kind of like when they see something new that might take away the shine from them. Not everybody's going to get along to get along. That's how it is sometimes. We got here. Oh, somebody hadn't seen in a long time. One Mister Balls Deep is in the building. He says, "Schmo gang, 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 gang."
Okay,
Also,
stop. Oh, I'm not okay. I'm not really that type of fan. Come on. That's a more of a stereotypical way to call us that. No thanks.
well, hey, that's how he says it. He always says it. Shout out here also to my man Josh. He says, "Hey, what's going get your protein drinks and popcorn ready because Tampa Pro is going to be a cinema. Yeah, I can't wait.
I agree.
I'm most definitely probably buy the live stream. I want to check it out, especially women's bodybuilding and women's physique, those two divisions. Figure is on the next day. I say I'll say it for a trip. I might not. If too bad. I wish what they should do is like put figure and physique together, but with all the sweet divisions together. But they probably want to put a division that maybe get more people into the seats. Because one thing is, when you go to the shows, people go. They say about the ticket sales are based on about appearance, and more often you get more people for the men's bodybuilding than you do for the other women divisions. Especially because, as I said, the men's bodybuilding is the bottom bitch. It's the one that gets a lot of attention and makes a lot of money. Right now, women's bodybuilding prize money is $2,000 for first place, and and I think the guys are getting like maybe $30,000. And some of the guys don't like that idea, but hey, wait a minute, $30,000. What? Why are you complaining about? You get $30,000. Why you get some people over here who spend more money, on their show day to come there and compete? Only get a couple $1,000s. And at the time you pay your motel fees, your flight, your food, your coach, your tickets. I was talking to one lady. She was at a show where she was competing. She bought tickets for her coach, her boyfriend, and a couple other people. She spent like about $900 just on tickets to get the show. And it wasn't like it was a big show like the Olympia. It was just a regional show. But
this was the Tampa Pro.
No, this is another show. This happened a while back.
So what's the? I don't know. Educate me on this. Like, what's the big deal or Tampa Pro for people to get the Olympia qualification and go to the Olympia?
Yeah, it's an Olympic qualification show, but it's also a regional show, meaning that you can also get national qualified to do shows like the USA's, North Americans, any pro qualifier that's out there. I met the lady who got her regional qualification there last year. Her husband, Keo, and her husband, Mr. Gregg. Mr. Gregg was a pro. She was there to get her regional qualification to do North Americans. And that was the same day she got her pro card. Then she made her pro debut in Masters World Championships the next day. We got here. Shout out to my man. He says, last man standing says, I get it, Alex. I hate the word smo. It's derogatory. Just say fan. Yeah. But again, we just take the words there for. Yeah. Now, another person who I'm here possibly, she already made her announcement, and that is Sharonica Hinton. And Sharonica lives in Florida. This is her home backyard. And I'm a fan of Sharonica. I got the opportunity to meet her. I remember I was talking to her. It says where her at the time they were still fiancés. They're now officially married. Her fiance, now her wife, Chris. I said, well, she was. Yeah, she said, no, she was home, but she was hanging out there. And Sharonica is an amazing lady. I've been a fan of hers. She has a great look physique. She even served here in North Carolina at Fort Bragg, and I've seen some pictures of her. She has an amazing body. Often said that she's truthfully, to me, the standard of what women's physique should be. And here you go, dropping Sharonica. And she made an announcement just a little bit, I think a couple of days ago on her IG.
So I am officially 7 days out for the Tampa Pro. Yes, guys, I am doing the prestigious Tampa Pro coming up here next Friday, July 31st. This is the first show of the season. There will be others this season. We just have not made a decision. I'm super excited. I have a new coach. His name is Dr. Gustavo Pasqualate. He will be here on Sunday to pick me into show and any other show that we do this month. So yes, there will be another show this month. Just don't know which one. I want to appreciate and thank Lift 365, my home gym, for just backing me and sponsoring me, as well as I'm part of Team Outlaws right now, Iron Outlaws, as well as Miss Guidance Suits for my suit, Miss Body Bling Jewelry for my jewelry, Pro Tan Official for my tanning sponsorship. I just am so blessed right now to be covered in all areas when it comes to competing, and the stars couldn't align better for me to step on this stage. So you guys keep an eye. Get your live stream now at timgarterproductions.com. The live stream will be done through TVP for PML. Prejudging is at 9 a.m. and finals is at 2 p.m. There is 2 different sections. Women are at 9, men are at 11. And then for finals, women are at 2 and men are at 4. So if you're coming to see me, make sure you get the correct ticket, or you will be buying a ticket for the men and not for Shishi. So get your live stream tickets if you're not going to be there. And then if you will be there, purchase your tickets for the prejudging at 9 a.m. and finals at 2. Right now, I'm just hitting my last big workout for back until coach gets here, and then he'll guide me into the show through next week. But today, you guys just get to watch me hit a little bit of back and shoulders. We're just getting a good pump. And then I'm going to go rest and relax for the rest of the day. So keep an eye, and hopefully I'll put out more footage for you guys to see me rock this stage at Tampa. Let's get a win.
Well, I honestly hope she does, because I'm a fan of Sharonica. She's an amazing lady.
I'll promise that if I see her, I actually never got my chance to meet her. I mean, I did see her at Vegas, but we never got a chance to meet her. So, if I do get a chance to see her, I'll give a shout out to you, George. I'll do what I did with Ashley. So, since you won't be here.
Well, I appreciate that, son. I really appreciate that. And to me, Sharonica has a beautiful physique, great lines. This is what I would say is truly women's physique, WPD division. I mean, great quality, not as overly big compared to some of the women you see now. This is just her doing a posing session. And you got to imagine when she gets in her top condition shape, what she's going to look like. She was number 3 back in 2023, actually 2024 when she's top 3. She's been a multiple-time Olympia. Again, she's amazing lady, has a great look to her. She also works and trains with other competitors when it comes to coaching. She worked with Michaela Aycock. She worked with Sherry Priami. I've interviewed a couple ladies that's been her clients. She has, again, I'm a fan of Sharonica Hinton. And here she is with her loving wife, Chris. They've been together for quite some time. They have a good, her good family. We see a while back one of her dogs passed away. Rest in peace to her dog. A lot of people, your dog's like your child. But also she served our country. So I don't say thank you for your service. I say I appreciate the sacrifice she made behalf as a citizen of this country. But like I said, I'm a big fan of Sharonica. Now, as I said earlier, Sherry Piami is going to make her return because Sherry, she competed back in 2024, and she had to take a step back because she had some medical issues that popped up. But I know she did an interview with her man Glenn, and also she's been talking about maybe possibly this might be her last hurrah as a competitive bodybuilder.
I mean, I could see either way. If she's satisfied what she is right now, maybe she could do it one more time. If not, but if this is really her retirement, I'm fine with that too. She loves what she does, but sometimes she needs to think really hard. What's real, and I like you mentioned before, she's a very busy woman. She cleans teeth, she takes care of her 2 sons and her daughter's a nun and all that. It's hard for her to do all this at once. I mean, I can see her if she retires. I would like to see her. She could still work out as a hobby, but not as a competitor. You know what I mean? If she's up for it, health wise.
Well, yeah, she's like I said, she's been dedicated. I remember one year when she competed, she was very close. That's what we said at the point system. She was very close to making Olympic qualification, but she took a step back because one of her kids was sick. I wasn't sure. She mentioned which one it was. Either was her daughter here or maybe her youngest son. And she could step back. All she needed was just maybe a few more points, and she would have made her first Olympia back in 2023. But I think it was 2020. It was 2022 when she made her women's bodybuilding debut. And I'm a fan of Sherry. She's been on my channel a couple of times. She works with Bad Rap. She's been a Bad Rap sponsor athlete for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And she has a great personality, a great look to her. I remember she was kind of disappointed back in 2024 when she didn't win her qualification at the Portugal Pro. There was a situation that happened between her, actually her boyfriend, and the winner's husband, as you know who I'm talking about. If you remember who won Portugal in 2024. And I mean, but she bounced back. She won Chicago in that year, and then she also competed at the Rising Phoenix, and she did the Olympia. And she's also this year she's planning on doing the Atlanta Pro, and
Yeah, she
also
made
she
Linda.
is invited to the Rising
Right.
Phoenix.
That's a good time for them because,
Yeah, I kind of agree with Alex on Sherry Priyami. I think she probably need to do it as a hobby than a big competitor.
And
Technically,
given her physique right now, she does look like she could make it to the top five. I've seen this recent photo of her before and after picture. Her muscles have looked conditioned, but in terms of their size right now, it's gonna be tough to know who will be on the rankings. You know what I mean?
yeah. Sherry has amazing physique. As you know, she was originally winners of physique, and she made her move after 2020, 2021 off, made a debut in 2022. I mean, she has she has a beautiful physique, uh, great minds. She has that great muscle density. Can you believe the lady is in her 50s? I
And
mean,
yeah, I like. She does look fantastic, amazing muscles, and she does have that movie star actress like quality to her beauty. She does look like beauty and muscle together. I think that suits her pretty decently.
she has a great smile, a great physique. I mean, um, she is one of those ladies that really, I think, she gives the sport new life when she competes because being that she has that both that femininity and the muscularity to carry. And that's kind of tough for some women to have. It's tough to be in both, try to be both feminine in sport, but also maintain the level of muscle that's very competitive. Like that's why Andrea is the top of her game right now. Shout out to my man, um, you know, uh, Last Man Standing says, I think it's kind of funny how Anastasia retired as soon as she lost both shows this season. Her husband was doing all that talking of her dominating for nothing. Yeah, the guy is a clown. I mean, I, I remember he started. It's funny when he's talking about where his wife's going to do this, do that. But the woman can't even get a passport to come in and compete. She has got two Olympic qualifications, and she can never get to the States. I mean, I know they got married some time ago, and I thought that might help her, maybe, because he's Israeli, so he's originally from Israel. He lives in Russia, but he's Israeli. So I thought being married might maybe change the citizenship standard. But
Is he a
I don't know.
citizen? The
Hmm?
husband? Like, is he an
He's
American citizen?
no, he's Israeli.
Yeah, I know. I know he's Israeli, but is he
No,
American
not
citizen?
no,
Like,
no, no, no.
okay,
Yeah. So
okay,
what's it? Yeah,
okay. I
yeah,
got you. I got
yeah,
you. I
yeah.
got you.
So that's the thing is, as long as he's Israeli, he can probably come here if he wants. But the problem, his wife is Russian, and that's the problem. I know a while back, our man David, he was at New York Pro. He talked to Yulia Glavacheva, and Yulia has a problem with her passport. She can't compete in any shows overseas. He told him that. But I'm wondering, she's done two shows. She did Pittsburgh and she did New York. And I'm wondering if Yulia might try to do Tampa because there's only a few more shows left for qualification within the states, counting Atlanta. There's also Texas, and there's the Arizona Pro, which is all the other divisions. But I'm wondering. So she posted stuff recently, but most of the stuff is Russian. But the question is, will she actually compete? So I'm gonna pull up this here. Give me a second, fellas. And here is Yulia. She was top three in the last two shows, both Pittsburgh and New York. And she has a great look to her. I mean, uh, she's another example of great combination of muscle and femininity. There's even a debate that she probably can do women's bodybuilding.
Mhm. Yeah. I see her on Instagram at times. Yeah, yeah. She got a nice physique. I be seeing her at
Yeah.
times.
You know, the thing is, like she said when she did an interview with David, she said that the issues was with something with passport. She couldn't. She usually do shows overseas. Like she got a qualification at Portugal last year, and he asked her was she going to do shows overseas. She said no, she was going to do shows states. Her plans was to do possibly after New York was going to do Pittsburgh, possibly Ottawa, and possibly Omaha. And then after I think she took second at the was second or third at I think he was second at the Pittsburgh Pro. Then she just kind of you know I was I don't know, maybe she felt like she needs some time to recover. She works with Rolf Zimmerman, who's been working with a lot of ladies. He just picked up a while back. Lady Megan Russell, and also a couple more ladies. Also, he has Missy Trescott his on his lineup. So she has a great look to her. And I think if she does Tampa, it's coming in with a lot of heavy hitters. Now, one person who has confirmed that she's doing this show is go up here. Wait a second. Is one Miss Melanie Horton. Melanie has been a guest. We've been cool. She's been keeping me up on what she's doing. Melanie had competed since I believe 2025 when she was one of the handful of ladies that competed at the Vancouver Pro, Vancouver Island show. And Melanie is 62 years old. And most definitely I know she's going to do both Open and Masters. She's an amazing lady. I know she was working with and training with Barbara Mojan. As you know, Barbara is right now she's still hanging out in Canada for a good while. And Barbara is she's planning on making her Olympia debut in a few months. Someone was wondering she was gonna do the Rising Phoenix, but she put the application. But Melanie's an amazing lady. She really gives some information. She's really she's been in the game for over 20 years. Here she is.
Career, I haven't had a training partner. I usually train by myself or with somebody training me, but having somebody to train with it's a game changer for sure. Especially someone like Barbara, because she pushes me. We kind of have the same philosophy on correct form and things like that. So it's been good.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when you're in a prep and you're tired. You're going to do 8 or 9 or do less weight.
Yes.
Your partner's not going to let you do that. So, yeah. For most of my career.
That's good that she found somebody who has the same comment, like, especially with women's bodybuilding. And Melanie's going to do WPD. She's going back to WPD. Again, I'm a fan of Melanie. I mean, she's an amazing lady. We talk every now and then. I hope maybe we can have her on. Maybe we can set some up after Tampa. Or maybe I'll reach out to her. Maybe she might set something up while she's at Tampa.
I agree. Barbara was an excellent choice for a coach. I can definitely see Melanie reach the top somewhere. She will definitely reach somewhere at this 62. I can't believe it. Wow, older than Barbara. What? That's even more impressive.
Yeah, and Barbara is 50 herself.
I know that's what I meant. Like over a decade old. That's really impressive. I definitely see Melanie reach somewhere in this condition muscles. So I can definitely see this.
Like I said, she's an amazing lady. She's been in the game for quite some time. One of her training partners and good friends is Laura Bernini, and Laura. You remember Laura back in the day? Sure, just amazing physique, just muscle top of muscle. I mean, I was a big Laura Bernini fan back in the day. She's been a multi-Olympian. She's been champion other shows. Just one of those great women. Now, another name that's been mentioned, and that is a lady who's been on my guest on my channel, Dr. Keena Squarey. And Dr. Squarey, she's been to the town before, and she last competed at the Toronto Super Show. And I see her doing well at this show. She didn't do so well at Toronto, but she's really just been almost a whole month since Toronto, and she's really put on some good conditioning. She has that size. I mean, she's one of the ladies that can do well. I think she's most definitely do both Open and Masters. Where I remember one year I think she did get her Master Olympic qualification, but she couldn't make it because of finances. Because she also works as a neurologist, meaning she's a doctor of the brain. So I'm a fan of hers. She has really good muscle density. Good width in the back. Condition will be great. If she does Open, I most definitely see her maybe cracking in the top 5. If she Masters, I see her winning the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, maybe somewhere in Masters. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, somewhere in Masters.
She's from Newfoundland. That's like the other side of Canada. Yeah, and she's traveling a good ways. We should do any more shows? I don't know. I mean, Atlanta's just another week away. She could do that show, or just after if she does get her Masters O qualification, maybe just shut it down and focus on the Masters O, what's coming up next year.
Get the question. Get the question.
Like I said, I'm a fan of this case work. Now, one person that we were thinking, because Alex gave me some information, because I thought she might do this show, but she did it. This is a show where she made her pro debut a couple years ago. That's Marilyn Yee.
Yeah, I thought she was. Yeah, Michaela Gaycock confirmed that. I asked. She said Michaela said she was coming. She was attending the show, and I asked her, "Oh, that means she's." That I thought Marilyn was coming because she's her coach, and I was like, but no, she told me no, she's not competing. So, but she's still going regardless of Michaela.
Yeah. As you know, last year she was number 2 behind Ashley Jones at the Steve Carr show. I think she did what I forget whatever show else she did. Show she did last year. She's going to be competing at the Rising Phoenix. She put her invitation. She got picked, and she has a press physique. I've interviewed her a couple of times. Even KL, he's interviewed her. I mean, again, she worked for Sherry Starnes, who's probably one of the top coaches for women in bodybuilding. I mean, and recently I know she was living in California, but she moved to Texas about a couple of years ago. And this is from last year when she was doing the Steve Carr show. I mean, her quads have got for more size, detail. Her conditioning has always been one thing. It's been on point. This is from pictures from the Steve Carr show. I mean, she looks amazing. If Ashley didn't do the Steve Carr show that year, I think she could have won her Olympic qualification.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, the Steve Carr show was definitely Marilyn's best yet. So, I think I guess doing the Tampa Pro would have been too soon. Would have been too much sense for her to train. And I guess the Atlanta Pro would have been a better choice for her. I guess because like Sherry said, you can't say no from the legend herself, Linda Murray. So.
Yeah, Linda Murray's a legend. She's been gaining quite some time. She's invited quite a few ladies to the show. As you know, our dear friend Eunice Martinez Kitchen is put up the prize money for women's bodybuilding. We have here, shout out to my man, Last Man Standing says, thoughts on the NPC USA's. Haley May got second and didn't get a pro card, but Lauren Vieira did by winning lightweight class. Female Bodybuilding Channel showed comparisons thinking Lauren wasn't pro worthy. Again, it goes back to the judges. What they feel like is the standard. And I think talked about it yesterday. I'm a fan of Haley. We were talking back and forth, when she was up there in Vegas for the USA's. And she's kind of bummed about it. But she has a plan. She's already planning on doing a show to try to get her Olympic get her pro qualification. If you want to go to her, follow her. She's supposed she's 57 days out, which means she's going to do the Olympia Amateurs, which is one thing with the Olympia Amateurs, it has to be a good amount of number of women to compete in her class. If there's enough where she can get a pro card, it had to be 5 women or more. She will definitely get a pro card. Nothing. No shade to Laura Vieira. It's deserved win, but me and Jeremy talked about how her posing was very. She's doing a lot of physique posings while doing with bodybuilding poses. Uh, and as you know, the pro card, it's a pro show. It's that guy who runs it, he does what he wants. In other shows, when you have less than 5 competitors, there's no pro card handed out. But she won her class, and I think, and most times, if you win in your class, you like with what happened with the winner was Britt Mills. She won her pro card because she won the class. But in other divisions, because they have a lot more numbers, the ladies won 2 pro cards, like over women's bodybuilding, women's physique. There was 2, like Brittany Diamond, who did both women's physique and women's bodybuilding. She got a pro card in the overall in her class, and just did and won the overall. But again, it's up to the promoters, how they see things up or whatever. So now, who else we thinking about that we heard that are doing this show? That's doing the Tampa Bay Pro.
Alita Opry.
Yes, Alita Opre, from Hungary. Uh, I'm a fan of this lady. I mean, she has a amazing physique. Great muscle density. She's from Hungary. She's hungry for another chance to go to Olympia. And she got a qualification back in 2024 at the Alita Popa Classic. And also, she posted that she's planning to do the Alita Classic again. I hope she does get it. If she'll get it here, I hope she gets it there. But here's the big problem. Alcione Barreto has confirmed that she's going to be doing the Alita Classic. She done it last year. And, it cuts down. That's the thing is, ladies, we get your qualification. Stop, because what you do, it cut down the numbers of women's bodybuilders at the show. There's not only but a little over 10 shows, and when you have that few shows, it's gonna be hard to have representation at the Olympia if you have less than 10 competitors. Here she is. This is a suit she wears by Bikini suits, bikini star bikini suits. They tagged me in this video. I posted it on my IG. She has a great muscle density. I think if she was a little bit tighter at Portugal, she may have had a chance against Alcione. But Alcione was just, her physique is just crazy. I mean, her muscle density, her muscle bellies. I mean, again, but Alita's there. I mean, maybe she was 4th. I think she was 5th at the Toronto Super Show. And she looked really good. And then she kind of did better at Portugal.
Yeah, she was the runner-up at that show, and I definitely see her somewhere in the top 3. I think she can make the top 3 at the Open. She's close. I can definitely see it.
Yeah.
The structure, the density, the density, the symmetry, everything. I could definitely see that. And considering she was a physique competitor who had to make the change to bodybuilding.
That's a good example. She's also, was a physique competitor who made the switch. She competed in women's physique up to 2023, I think, and then she switched in 20. I think I think she competed up to 2022, and then made her debut in 2024 in WP. Yeah, she did a couple of shows. I believe she did the Imperial, and she did the Alina show. She got the qualification in Alina's, and then she did the Olympia. I think she might have hit the top 10. But again, she has amazing body, great muscle density. I mean, she's really evolving. She has, I've posted stuff on it. She's from Hungary, so I don't know how well her English is. I won't mind doing it. If you ever see her, just say hello. I mean, she probably could say hello in the best way in English.
My family, I'm actually quite interested by her because she's half of my father's side's from Hungary, so it's pretty interesting to see someone from this country represent women's bodybuilding. It's glad we're getting some more different. I think she's probably the first to do so.
Speaking Hungarian?
No, I mean, I never spoke. Well, I mean, my grandparents lived in the Bronx, so I know their accent. So, but I mean, it's kind of. I really wish I spoke more of my family's native tongue, so I would have understand Alita. But I'll try as best I can if I ever get to see her. I just, no.
I think she knows a little English, just enough for a conversation. But again, I think she has a great look to her. She has great muscle density. You know, just I think at Portugal she came a little tighter. I think she's doing a little better now. I'm also going to dip into figure for a little bit. And there's a couple ladies, who I had a pleasure being guests on my channels. And one is making a pro debut and one is competing this is going to be a second show for the year. And that's the lovely Mrs. Ryan Martin. And Miss Martin, she's been in the game for quite some time. I most definitely feel like she could do open and masters. Her friend here, he's also one of the guys who's helping sponsor. He has his rice, pudding brand is helping sponsoring the Tampa Bay Pro. Ryan's is a nice lady. She's also a coach and a trainer herself. She's a mother. I mean, ladies in her good part of in her 50s, and she looks really good. I give her that.
This.
Yeah. Now, also another lady who's been a guest is one Miss Holly Hines, and Holly just turned pro no more than about I would say a month ago, where she competed at the Junior Nats in Tennessee, and and she lives in Alabama, and her boyfriend, Gator, they run their own gym together, and also they're promoters in Alabama. They got a show coming up in a few weeks, and Holly, this is going to be her pro debut. I think she might do open and masters, and she's also a lady of maturity. I mean, she has a great look to her, great physique. It was a great opportunity to interview her, just a few days ago. Her friend, Miss Terry Ivy, just competed almost about a couple of weeks ago at the Nationals, the Masters Nationals. I wish she posts more stuff, but yeah, she's like I said again. She and her boyfriend run their own companies. He owns a car lot, and they also run a gym together. This is the Alabama Opens coming up, which is a regional show in Alabama. And I'm a fan of hers. So I think she's a great opportunity to have her as a guest.
Speaking of guests, didn't one of your what's her name? Ama. I think she's guest posing at the contest this year.
Which one? We say again?
Ama begins AMA, and it begins with her last name begins with an F. She's from the figure. I'm trying to get her name down.
I'm trying to remember who that was. I mean, Ama. So Ama. Trying to remember. The F. God, seems like so many people. Shout out to my man here, Last Man Standing. I disagree. Competitors should compete whenever, regardless if they already have the Olympic qualification. We need more competitors on stage. The numbers matter for the division. Yes, it matters for division. But then when it comes to Olympia, the big show, when you have so few competitors, and that's the thing is, women's bodybuilding has so few competitors. Yes, we need numbers for the show, but one person will get the qualification. It's not going to make much difference. If you can step back, and if you have if you have 9 women to show, and one of them is Olympic qualification, you're still going to have 8 women if that one take a break from the show. I know we want you to be active, but what it does again, it cuts down the numbers. You got to think about it. If you have 10 women, that's it. 10 women. It's gonna you're gonna have a short prejudging and short finals. Because with the finals you just do the top 10, and then the prejudging you have all the other competitors. Again, I understand what you're talking about, brother. We want numbers, but still, we like to see more women when they hit to the big show. We like to see more also at the shows, but also to see them also a good amount of numbers at the Olympia. Shout out to my man here. He says Paulina didn't have to do Pittsburgh Pro without her. WPD would have only had 5 total competitors. Athletes need to compete to keep their division at the show. But the thing is also the cost of competing. As well as I know, it's expensive to compete. Expensive, especially you think about doing multiple shows. Now these ladies have, deep pockets. You have to get, especially if you come from another country, you have to make sure your passport's updated. You have to make sure that you have a place to stay. You have to pay for your food. Pay for, if you're doing masters, you have to pay entry fees, and there's so many expenses. So you do one show, and then that might be the one show you do for the year, and then you have to maybe save up to do another show, not the next year, but the year after that, the following year before that year. I mean, again, it goes back to cost of bodybuilding. Again, if it was like a real sport where you can make a living off of it, and you can have ways to pay for the cost of your coaches, the cost of buying suits, the cost of paying entry fees. I mean, it'd be, hey, I think we see more people if it was a sport we can make a living off of. Now, another lady who's been a guest on my channel is Sandra Amaro, and Sandra is competing. She, I didn't know because I follow her, but I've seen she's looking good shape. I thought she might do, because I know last year she did Tupelo. She made her debut at the I think it was, which show she made a debut at last year. I know she did World Master Championship, where she got a qualification for the Masters Olympia for next year, and she did Tupelo, and she did another show. But Sandra is also competing at the Tampa Bay Pro, and she looks really good. I mean, she posted this, and I looked at, saw in the tag, say, "Oh, Tampa Bay, wow," you know.
I woke up one day and stopped playing the blame game. I woke up one day and looked at the man in the mirror and was like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Wake up. It's showtime. Let's go. I woke up one day.
Yeah, let's get serious. She is a Prince lady. She is a Master Olympia competitor. She won a qualification last year at the Masters O. She might go back, because I think, she might be going back because she wants to defend her title. As you know, the Masters O, we don't know where they're going to have it yet. I'm hoping to have it in the States. If they have it in the States and someplace where I can get to it, I would like to go. She also competed at the Tupelo Pro. As you know, Tupelo no longer exists. The original promoters let that go. Somebody else took over that show, but they hadn't really done anything with it. Maybe you could find somebody else who might want to take it over. Because last year they did have masters for women's bodybuilding 40 and 50. I know a lady who has been a friend of mine and been a guest on my channel, Christine Ware. She competed and did I think she won the masters, I believe, in 50. But this year they're not having Tupelo. Also, to show that Marika Jones, she did that show place. I think Marika was fourth, fifth that year, and then she drove all the way from Tupelo to Texas, where she's in the top 3. I think, yeah. But she's an amazing lady. She's a mother of 3 kids. She's dedicated. Comes always from California. Yeah, California has a good ways to come just to compete at a show like Tampa. But Tampa is a big show, and you don't want to miss the opportunity. And I know most definitely she's doing Open, and she's doing Masters 40 plus. So
can we talk about what about Rachel? What about Rachel Daniels? This is her comeback year.
Well, this is that's Rachel. We already talked about her yesterday, but yeah, Rachel's competing. The real Lois Lane, as you know, she's also putting up some money for the best poser. This is, I think it's going to be a tight race between her and most definitely you got Sharonica, you got Amanda in the mix, a couple other ladies, who could possibly take the title. Rachel, it's a good poser. She's a great look to her. We talked about how maybe in a couple of years she can probably go up to women's bodybuilding.
I mean, like I said before, it depends on it's on their division. They have the credentials to become a bodybuilder, but they have to reach the qualification in order to you know to reach the standards. Like they're too big or too lean.
Yeah, but it goes back to if you look at somebody like Paula Ranta,
Oh yeah, let's talk
Paula,
about her.
Paula again, she's young, and I feel coming to women's bodybuilding, I think she may have her hopes up too high. Um, I mean, a lot of people are talking about it because again, she's young, she's exciting, her condition is crazy. This is a video from RX Muscle. She has look like she has road maps. They look like spider webs on her legs. I mean, she has great conditioning. Her quads are amazing, but still, I feel like she's still undersized. Especially if you look up at the muscle bellies, look at the her not enough fullness and roundness, especially in the lats. She has good width, but the thing is that women's bodybuilding is not just about conditioning; it's also about size.
Agreed. Too soon, if you ask me. I mean, she could have done what Sarah did. Just keep her qualification, take the rest of the year off, and just make her proper debut in bodybuilding. But it
Well,
was
she needs more than a
progressing
year.
still. Like, I mean, she
Honestly,
has a bit of it, but still too soon.
yeah, she needs more than a year because, like I said, I remember somebody saying she has baby muscles. She's still not there yet. I would say, she got her qualification. She most definitely she's not going to do like Sarah, sit off to the side and not use her Olympic qualification. She is competitive. She wants to be active. She's still going to do Texas after this show. So she more likely if she doesn't win in women's bodybuilding, she's going to do Texas, and then she's going to do the Olympia. Now this is from when she made a pro debut. I mean her women's physique debut at um, Imperial back in 2024, and this is her last competition. This is her at Pittsburgh just a few months ago. You can really see the difference. It was barely maybe a year after she switched over from figure to do WPD, and she did it's about 8 or 9 shows that year. And I mean, she was chasing after something. And again, how she paid for all of it? I mean, you got to think about it. She was living in Finland. I think now she lives in Dubai, and that's a lot of money to travel from here to there. And then she's still in the States, and you live in America. Well, living can be very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to check this real quick and see if the list is done. It's already about 7 o'clock. It should be dropped. Let's see. Nope. No
Really,
confirmation
they're
yet.
really doing the inedible this year, aren't they? Why do
I
they always do
remember,
this every month? Why do they post? Why do they post the list of competitors like a few days before the actual contest? Why every Monday?
well, because that's the deadline. Sunday's the deadline, and then they start putting down the paperwork, who's competing, get confirmation. Because most of these they can put in their application like weeks or months in advance to do this show. And this is just to confirm, especially for us guys who do follow, excuse me, social media, so everybody can say, "Hey, we know who's on paper going to be at the show." Now, I had seen sometimes when competitors, like I remember one lady I interviewed, Shay, she was making a return in women's physique at Chicago Pro. Then Shay decided to switch and go women's bodybuilding, and she did the Masters 50 and 55 plus. She won because it was only her and another lady, and the other lady, she won her Masters O qualification in 40, and she won the 45. And Shay beat her in the 50 and 55. Then I've seen competitors who dropped out, and you usually be a couple of days before you find out. When you look at the list, you say like, "Wait a minute, she was on the list, but then she's not on the list." I mean, what's going on? I mean, then either some financial issues. Like a while back, it was Ultima, and I think it was Ultima in Omaha. There's one lady, her name is Paula. She's from Mexico. She's supposed to do those 2 shows, but whatever reason, she didn't do them. She dropped out of Altima and Omaha, but she was able to do Toronto Super Show. It might have been an issue with her passport or visa coming in the States, because right now we're in a situation where a certain leader is not a fan of particular people of a certain country, especially Mexico. So, it could be so many different things, but most definitely the deadline is a Sunday. You have at least some of these competitors who will put in their applications in months in advance. And this is just the list just confirming who's going to be at the show. And then sometimes they're going to have a last minute change, either somebody that switched divisions or somebody might have dropped out of the show.
Right. I understand. Speaking of visa, speaking of people who have visa, what about the other Anastasia Ryder? Where would she would place in this lineup for this year? Since even though she in your interview with her, she mentioned she was going to take the rest of the year off, but changed her mind after what she's been doing.
Well, I hope she does well. As you know, she competed last year. She did. She didn't do. I think what show she did. She did. I think she did do Toronto. She didn't last year. She did do Tampa, but she did do the show in Germany. And I'm trying to remember, she did a show before that. What was that? I think she did not Vancouver.
I think she was
Um
placed third in one of them, right? She was. I think that was the highest she ever ranked from what I can remember. She was like in third place in one of them.
yeah, it
I
was I
think.
think it was in Germany. It was Germany.
Yeah.
Because she was planning on going. I remember, and then we did an interview afterwards. She said her and her husband just got married. They were thinking about moving, and then, as you know, she's now ambassador. Ambassador. She's one of the sponsored athletes for the Beyond the Physique documentary, and she was seventh at Toronto. I think she was Chicago was she was I think she was top three at Chicago. I know she did Chicago, skipped Tampa, and did Germany, and she looked really good. She did Toronto. I think there was an issue because I remember watching that show, and as you know, that show was it was almost midnight till we finally got to see the finals for women's bodybuilding with physique. But there was an issue doing prejudging. She had a problem with her tan. It started to run. I mean, I was watching. She was like wiping it. I thought most definitely she was going to be in the top five, but I think the tanning hurt her. Here she is, one of her friends. She's an amazing lady. I mean, she's been a guest a couple of times. They do a little Rocky montage, Rocky 3, with where Apollo and Rocky are jumping in the water after the run. It's kind of cool. But she has a great personality about herself. Again, I was kind of surprised when she decided to compete, but I think what I've been hearing is all hands on deck, especially with bodybuilding.
Well, yeah. I mean, she launched the Indiegogo campaign, and believe me, I was trying to fund. I was planning to use her GoFundMe, but I didn't know what the deadline is, and unfortunately for me, I missed the deadline. So
we didn't know deadline. If the GoFundMe should be still up.
I tried searching for it. I really tried searching for it. It didn't pop up anywhere. I tried searching her name, everything, nothing.
Well, I can check. I might still have it somewhere. Because I know I often shared it, but that GoFundMe should be somewhere. Because most time, unless she shut it down, most time GoFundMe can go on for. I know ladies who posted GoFundMe 2-3 years ago, and it's still up. But it could be still. I know. As you know, she's working with Beyond Physique, and Kelly Larkin.
I would donate too. I would donate for that too.
Yeah, and I donate to that too. It's most definitely just to say, what, I did something. Because it's kind of frustrating to see women's bodybuilding get pushed out. And I know some people don't like the idea of the GoFundMe, but here's the thing: is she did something. What are you doing? I mean, whoever who could, especially in your own division, women's bodybuilding, someone has to step up. Someone has to take that chance and put themselves out there to give the division a fighting chance. And if you complain about what she's doing, I'm asking you, what are you doing? Got shout out here to my man. He's coming here. He says, "Hi George, this is Black Panther. I guessed it. I knew stuff. Also, it says, I believe that Isama Dawson, Andrea Shaw, and Ashley Lynette Jones will be the great at the Miss Olympia. Women's bodybuilding is the greatest.
How
All
many times have
right.
we seen that comment? How many times have we seen that comment already?
Yeah, I know. He gets bad as balls deep, man. He gets bad as balls deep. He says Texas female bodybuilder Tawanda Smith is the greatest muscle on black women's, beautiful and sexy. Black is beautiful. Yes, I know that. And also, shout out to you, says George, you are the greatest. Stay strong and God bless. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. But brother, you got to do something. So you doing reruns like cartoons, you know. But as you know, I try to pay attention to figure a bit. And it's one young lady I've been following for a bit. I interviewed her friend Lindsay Contreras, and that is her name is Michelle Mickany. And Michelle, impressive lady. She's doing the show, doing the Tampa. She's been getting questions. She has a crazy. I just interviewed another lady who knew who I say. Her back is something about her back. She has this big tattoo on it, but still, I think she has a back that probably women in bodybuilding and physique would love to have. I mean, she did a couple of shows, I believe, last year. She did the Atlantic Coast, and I forgot what else she did. But she's from Texas, so Texas really really brings out some great ladies. Here she is, just she posts a lot of stuff like just working in the kitchen, wearing the short shorts. Again, her back is just crazy. Density. I think she has a great physique. Shoot. Maybe she put a little more muscle. I can see maybe doing women's physique in the future. But one thing is that tattoo. It's very she has a lot of tattoos, but that one in the back, I think it looks like an eagle or something. It really stands out. It really, I think it really brings a lot of attention to her back. I mean, I would love to have other guests, maybe someday. Michelle, if you hear me, I'm just like I said again, I'm a fan of women of muscle. She has a great look to her. I know recently she has been she got baptized, and oof, I mean, again, she has a beautiful physique. She has a great look to her, attractive, very feminine. I mean, I'm rarely ever astonished by some of these ladies, but once in a while you see one that really can just take your breath away.
Yep.
She's really evolved in the last few years. This is her, maybe a few years ago up to now. So it's already a little after. It's already about. I want us to wait a few more minutes, and I'm going to check to see if the list has come out. I want to give at least a few more minutes. Like who, if you had anybody to pick to do the Tampa Bay Pro, and you want to see yourself, who would it be? It can't be Natalia Coelho.
Nope, she's already. It can't be her. She's already top of the game. She's. It's very clear that she's the Miss Olympia physique. So she has a job to take care of. Has a lot of shows to promote to keep the Brazilian side of bodybuilding. Doing a local show like that, doing another show would tamper with her, concentration. I mean, I know she took some risks before, like doing another contest after the Olympia, but she somehow prevailed. So, but that'll be too much for her to handle.
Well, like I said, she's. I won't say she. I won't say she was too much to handle because she can do like shows like New York and Pittsburgh back to back. Turn around, do a show in Mexico after winning the qualification to Olympia. I mean, I won't say it will be too much for her. She's like I said, she's still a young woman.
I didn't mean like that. I didn't mean like that. I just meant like I mean, you won the biggest contest in the world, and you decided to do another contest afterwards. I'm just saying, but she would, conserve her energy for next year. I'm just saying. I wasn't insulting her. I just,
I know you're not insulting her. It's just that it's it's just again when you're on the top, I would say why waste the energy jumping on shows? Because some women they don't have a problem with it, but others do. because they want an opportunity to go to Olympia. You go to a show and say, okay, I'm coming in here, I'm going to compete. But then here comes uh, the current Miss Olympia, or at one point she was current Miss Olympia, or who's been the top two Miss Olympia in the past, come in, step in, and it can sometimes take some women's thunder because you feel like, hey, I did all this training, all this work, and then you're telling me, she can come in here, boom, and then, hey, I'm not gonna go to Olympia. I mean, I remember I was talking to one lady about that. She was like, she did a show that was in Florida. It was a show. It just added wins physique that year, and she was determined. So she was hoping to get her Olympic qualification this show. But then, boom, here comes Natalia, and that's tough. You put in that time in your work and you're investing your money into it, and then you come and find out, hey, I take second. I feel like I deserved first. She was second, but she felt like it should have been first if she was for Natalia.
True.
Yeah. One more lady who I think I was talking to online. We're talking for a while. She's from South Africa. Her name is Melissa, and Melissa made her pro debut about a couple weeks ago at Chicago Pro, and she's one of a handful of women from South Africa that competes in the IBB, and I think she was in the top 10 at the Chicago Pro. She had a great look to her, great physique, crazy conditioning. I don't know why she even placed a little higher, but again, I'm not a judge, I'm a fan. But she's also going to be competing this weekend at Tampa. She's still in the States. I reached out to maybe set up an interview, maybe after the show if she's still here. I mean, she turned pro about a couple of years ago, and this year's her pro debut.
Cool.
Yeah, and all the way from South Africa. We have a lady that's in South Africa, Tiana Flex, and I'm wondering if Tiana's going to do any shows. I might reach out. She might say something. She's already qualified for next year's Master Olympia, being the champion.
Right. I did hear Christina Crusoe said she's doing. I saw a story reel of her with a timer countdown to Tampa on it. Then there was I think Shania Oleg is coming too. I hope.
Well, I know a couple of ladies who do the show. Alex, I got to meet Alex Blankenship when I was at the Tampa that year. I was talking to her online, set up an interview when we got to meet. And Alex, she feel like she did too well because she just does the Masters. She did Tampa that year, last year, and she also did the Atlanta Pro. And this year she did Chicago, and she took second to Donna Jones in the 40 plus class, and she's coming in here doing Tampa. And I most definitely know she could do 40 plus. She's probably one of the smallest women. I think she's like at least 4'10". Probably 4'8" after she loses the extra fat on her feet. But she has a great look to her. Again, she took second to Donna. Donna, Jones has amazing physique. And just to hold her own against women like who are much more taller than her. I mean, she's a mother. She's worked. She one point was doing suits. I think she stopped back from doing that. She's a big fan of desserts. I mean, and also her background. She is of African American and of Korean descent. I hope she does well. Especially she's trying to get maybe a Master's of qualification. That's why I'm hoping. She does. I would love to see her again in person. Most definitely she gets to. If the Masters, here's the thing. I'm hoping the Master Olympia is in the States. If it's someplace where I can get to, like maybe Orlando or maybe Pittsburgh, or someplace else that I can get to. Any place that farther than that, yeah, it's gonna be expensive. Like, getting a flight from, because how like when you flew from which was your cost for your flight when you flew from Florida to Nevada to Las Vegas?
It was like, I think it was like $400 something, considering how airlines are nowadays, especially if you try to plan early.
Yeah, and then the cost of everything, with the cost of gas, everything going up, because it affects the oil, affects also airlines because they have to charge. Also, I'm a bigger dude. Sometimes they charge you double because you have to give you two seats because sometimes that's how airlines work. Because those seats not like I remember David when he took his flight, he said those seats when we went to Columbus for all the classes. Those seats are kind of small, especially if you go with like maybe a discount airline. And Spirit Airlines is gone now, so that was probably regional and most cheapest airlines now. But one thing I most got to do is also get myself a real ID because they just don't let you get on a plane anymore like you used to. Shout out to my man Josh. He just here. He says, "I saw Alex grace the stage, at Chicago. Yeah, pro. She looks phenomenal. Yeah, he was there. So, folks, I'm gonna check. It's already a little after 7, and maybe we have some
Oh, finally.
confirmation
Let's see who made the cut.
and nothing."
Oh,
So
really?
probably I feel like it might be taking on longer. I don't want to be here more than I need to. Um, folks, probably maybe about 7:30. And I feel like I don't want to be here on here much longer. Uh, there's some other guesses we might hear. Especially women's bodybuilding. We most definitely need the bodies. I'm waiting to see who's going to be represented. I hope we can have at least. I know Janine can't make it because she was dealing with some issues. She had a issue with an injury, and that set her back, so she may not compete the next year. A couple of ladies who I met when I was there, Christine Ware, she was planning to do Chicago, but then when they dropped it off the list, and then they changed their mind. Now I think she's focused on another show for her prep. It's a long list of ladies. I hope we can get some ladies to step up, knowing that. Maybe next year we may not have women's bodybuilding at Tampa Pro, meaning that we may not even have any women's bodybuilding in any Tim Gardner shows other than maybe the Masters. And this is in Chicago and Tampa were one of the most prestigious shows for that division. But maybe next year things can change if we get people you can find somebody who wants to sponsor it. It does take sponsorship to pay for, the sanctioning fees, to put up the prize money. $2,000 for first place. That's sad. I remember a while back when Margie Martin put this out when she competed at Tampa. First place was $5,000. And usually with the cost of living going up, you go up with the prize money. But again, you have to you can't depend on Jake Wood to come in here and yo Jake. I want that money. I want that gun. But again, ladies, they come together. Numbers were pretty good at Tampa. I'm not Tampa. Triple O. Numbers were pretty good at Toronto. So we got another T show. Come on, ladies, show up for the T shows. Most definitely Triple O. Triple O, Toronto, Tampa. Let's get 10. I like to see 10 ladies, and they're gonna have some ladies probably gonna do the Masters, but it's also ladies, hey, don't be afraid to do, if you are 40, 50, don't be afraid to do the open class, because here's the thing is, you won't have to pay to play. You can just write a contract, just jump on the game. But I know some ladies don't feel comfortable competing with women who might be 10 to 20 years younger than them and have a certain level of muscle. But some ladies who I've seen on social media, they look really good. Some haven't announced where they're going to do shows yet. We got the Atlanta coming up the next weekend. Maybe I'm thinking about in the future, I might go to the show and get some shout out to get some. I leave my phone on during the live because every so often somebody might see me something, tell me something, get some information. Let me check real quick. I just heard something. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, it's I got a return from Dr. Kenny Squarey. I tagged her in something. And let's see. I think Bad Rap sent me something. Oh, that's pretty cool. Added flag football. It just, yeah. That's something. Yeah, because Keith talked about this. Flag football is going to be popular. In now, you're going to have it in the Olympics. But while I'm here to talk about my big brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams. as you know, he's been in hospital disease that's been attacking both his heart and his body. Um, he's a great guy. He's been a guest on here. We've been talking a little bit, through text. I just, my heart goes out to him, his kids, and also his wife, the little Miss Tina S. Williams. I've been through it. It wasn't that long ago. It's been a little over 12 years ago when I had my first heart attack at 39 years old. I wasn't in the cardiac unit for about just a week, but then I had to see specialists, and then it wasn't that long after that, specialist to another specialist, and that specialist told me I need a pacemaker. I feel like maybe I hope it doesn't go that way for him, but he's getting medication and gets everything checked out. He's been posting stuff. And most definitely, I know he's ready to come back home. So I'm going to pull this video up if I can. I saw it earlier today. Give me a second if I can find it. See, Cody. See it up here. But again, I'm always want to give him a shout out. He's an amazing person. He gives me the information. Maybe one of these days I get to maybe go to because they live in Kansas. Maybe someday, if I get a chance, I won't mind going over there and just visiting him and his family and Tina and just sit and talk and have a good time. Just to again, I'm traveling a little more. I'm going to Pittsburgh in a few weeks, and also I'm hoping to go to another show that is in my home state of North Carolina, and that is the Queen of the City. So it's a figure masters and open Olympic qualification, but I always want to give a shout out to my man, my big brother, Mr. Big Keith, and his lovely wife, Tina S. Williams. So I just jumped onto there. He's not too much on, IG. He mostly spends more time on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook, because him and Tina have their own Facebook, account together. And watch this video that he posted. It made me want to cry a bit because I think he's a great person. He's an amazing man. I mean, it kind of made me think of my brother. He also had an issue with his heart, and it wasn't long before he passed. And here's this with his lovely wife Tina and their little daughter, Kansas. Just wish he was little. And here's my man, Big Keith Williams. I'm gonna pull this up. All right, take it slow. Wait a minute.
Hospital for since the 4th of July, so 22 days as of today. Up this morning to get my meds, to get started on my last treatment until next month, my IV treatment. Got some breakfast this morning, got a little fruit here, got some French toast here, had a little, a little omelet, some apple juice, and feeling a little bit better today than I did yesterday. They finally figured out a remedy to get me to sleep a little bit better. Gave me some Valium with a little bit a little bit pain medication to get me to sleep better, and that kind of helped. Still woke up about 6 a.m. because I just can't sleep a long time. At least it's relaxing me and helps me sleep. Hopefully, fingers crossed, and everybody pray for me today that I get to go home on Monday. They still have to do oxygen tests. I'll do some PT today with Walker, and they'll basically determine how much oxygen I'll be taking home with me, because I will be on oxygen when I leave out of here. And then next week I'll go back and get some blood work done, probably local at Lawrence Memorial because it's closer for the next 2 weeks. And then next month, at the end of the month, I start my 4 cycles. So it goes 5 300 milliliters, 4 300 milliliters, 2 300 milliliters, then 1 hopefully, and see how that goes and how my body's responding to it. They said it usually takes a few weeks for my body to be receptive of this new drug. So I'm excited. I'm just blessed. Just reading a passage in my Bible today is actually interesting, and I won't be long with it, but it was encouraging to me, saying, I can't read what my God says. God created you. God created you, loves you, and longs you to have a relationship with you. He pursues with you persistence and unfailing love, draws you to him. Ask God to open your spiritual eyes to see how events, controversies, chances, meetings throughout an open door, and God's hand reaches out to show you that he is nearby at work in your life. When your enemies and the surrounding nations heard about it, they were frightened and humiliated. They realized that the work had been done with the help of God. So that being said, I know I was teary-eyed the last few days, and I'm still emotional because I'm just ready to get out of here. And I got to see my son for the first time in a week, which was awesome because Grandma brought him up here as they desanitize and clean the house today before I get home, because my immune system will be vulnerable. So if you're sick, I'd love to see you, but stay away because I can't get any more sicker, nor do I want to come to this place. But anyway, I just want to tell everybody, I'll let everybody know at the end of this treatment how it goes. I appreciate all the love and support I get from everybody. I just did this so everybody can see my face and see that I'm smiling and see that I'm grateful just to still be here. And I want to thank everybody for the cars. I want to thank Crunch Fitness for sending a card with Robert. It was amazing to see the staff and how much you miss. Sometimes you just don't pay attention because you take things for granted as you're here, but it was lovely to see how it was missed and people miss my laugh and things like that. So take it in one step at a time. This is the last treatment I'll get for a month, and then we'll go back at it next month. So hope to see you guys soon. And I get my puppy tomorrow, Kingston. Amy Brockman is picking it up for me from Oklahoma. So hopefully I'll get out of here in enough time to be able to see him and meet him by the time I get out of here, hopefully. So anyway, just wanted to say thanks for all the blessings, and thanks for all the prayers, and thanks for all the support and love. This is an amazing community in which I'm in, and grateful that I can, God, this means language Pete. Grateful that I can impact people's lives enough for them to care about how I'm doing. So you guys have a blessed Sunday. It's God's day. Take it off for rest and recovery. And I will talk to you guys soon. God bless. Love you. I'm out.
I love you too, big brother. I mean, it makes me think about what my brother went through before he passed, and it kind of touches me, and what I went through, and Keith is a good person. He is a caring father, friend, coach. I can say no more I can say about this man. I appreciate the time he reached out and said, George, I want to try and jump on and do the little, your live stream with you. And, he brought a perspective, he made me laugh. I'm like, hey, George, I don't like black girls like that. But Andrea said, hey. And I still got that picture of him having my girl. But you know what? I'm going to let it go. I tried it. I did it before, but I can do it again. It's going to be hard, too, because you know how much I love Andrea, but it's my brother. I let him have that. So, folks, I'm going to check one more time before we head out, see if the list is set.
They're delaying the available this year, aren't they?
Yeah, it probably will be posted till 8 o'clock. So, let's see. And no. So I won't know anything to officially who's going to be at the show to 8 o'clock. Probably, it's already about 17 minutes after 7. So, you know what, folks, I'm going to wrap this up. Like to thank man KL wonderful coming through. Shout out to man Josh here. Can't forget Alex right here in front of me. As you know, Alex gonna be at Tampa. So ladies, talk to the boy. Get him to, let's get the boy out there. I mean, he's ready to mingle. He's a nice young man. Black Panther, that you come through. Last man standing. I appreciate you. Balls deep. Well, thank you. And also John Thomas. Thank you for coming through. Folks, once the list is out, I'm going to post a video. As I usually did. I didn't do one for Chicago. I was so busy with things going on. Chicago slipped my mind because usually every so often I put this list of who's competing and that. But and I didn't know that they were going to have women's bodybuilding. I mean, some women's physique, and figured that Friday. Usually they have it that Saturday. But my guess, for a reason, Tim Gardner decided to show it a little earlier than they usually did. So that's why I didn't pull out my, I just was so busy with so many things going on that week, shows and this and that and interviews, that it kind of slipped my mind. But I will make sure I have a video on my channel where it's going to announce, who's going to be at the show, and also leave the link if you want to check out the pay-per-view. Also, if you want to go there, out to be there, there's the prizes like how somebody told me the prejudging for women's bodybuilding is going to be that women's bodybuilding, women's physique is going to be that morning at 9, and they have the finals at 2. Because you want to buy tickets, especially you can buy tickets specifically for those divisions. They do have tickets for the men's. That's usually going to be that, I think that Friday, or that's Saturday, I believe. But if you just want to see particularly women's physique, women's bodybuilding, they're going to be that Friday, and men's bodybuilding figure's going to be Saturday. When I went to Tampa, I just, I only had my plan was to stay a little extra, like a day extra, but then the train back was leaving that Saturday afternoon, so I couldn't stay but so long. I was going to leave that Sunday or that Monday, but it was a great opportunity for me. And again, I'm going to Pittsburgh. And again, hey, I can use donations. There's a link here. I get some money saved, but when you go to some place, you really want to have something, some money to have a good time with. Maybe smooth a little bit, have some time. Enjoy myself, going to another state and going up north. I mean, never been. Farthest up north I've been to was Virginia, and that was 20 years ago. So yeah, anything to say, brother?
Well, I promise whoever was there, I promise I'll give you as many shots as I can, since you met some of them, and I'll provide as much information as I can. I'm gonna be staying for the Masters, and definitely for the Open and prejudging and finals Friday. I'll be leaving Friday afternoon, so yeah, I'll keep you. Yeah, next Monday I'll keep you posted with as much info as I capture and recorded, and yeah, I think this year's Tampa is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially you don't have Zaba Business not competing this year. Lavia Barros, who won it last year, is out, and then you have Paula Rancer coming in here do her debut in women's bodybuilding, and and also a couple ladies who I've heard are making their pro debut at this show. So it's a big show. I mean, you can check it out if you want. If you follow Tim Gardner, I would do a video as I usually do. Leave a link if you want to check out the live stream, because it does cost. Live stream's not too expensive. I mean, if you just go watch one division per se, I may not watch the Masters again. Like I said, I've saved a few bucks for my upcoming trip, so I will watching the Open women's and women's bodybuilding. I will make sure I post stuff whenever once everything's announced and put together. I might even do this. I might watch the Tampa on my on my computer and record some stuff and post it later, because it's you can't show it live, but you record it and post it later, like some other guys like Claudio does it with some shows, female bodybuilders with shows. As long as you don't show it the live post after the show, they don't have a problem with it. They don't say anything because hey, it's afterwards. But hey, it's a way to get attention for the show and also for the competitors. And ladies, if you're interested in maybe doing interviews, I got one tomorrow, got a couple more this coming weekend. Let me know. You are always welcome, yes, on my channel. So shout out to my man Alex here. Shout out to my KO came through. All who watch this video. Thank you for support. Thank you for supporting us as content creators, and also thank you for supporting these women in the sport of bodybuilding. Anyway, it's me on the Way George page, aka the Emperor of Female by Talk. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I am out. Good night, God bless, and good luck.